All right, ready to start?
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Morning, how are you?
Good.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. My numbers come up for this Saturday.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Good afternoon. I was getting ready to say good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. And this is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made at this juncture. What is the reset SAP date, Ms. Bridgewater?
February the 29th.
Okay, February the 29th. That will be our reset date. I'm going to begin by advising everyone this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. I want to remind the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to counsel at this point, and you should know who your attorneys are by now. You also have a constitutional right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts and circumstances and the occurrences of this case can and will be used against you. The state is here and they're listening. So listen to your attorneys. All right, who do we have first, deputies?
Position number 4.
All right, this is 24 CR 000782, Kristen Hurt, charge of 1 count of battery family violence pretrial.
The first arrest, jail was a recommendation.
All right.
And this is a dual arrest, Judge.
I'm sorry.
Dual arrest.
Yeah, that's
Dual
correct,
arrest.
Your Honor. She is a cross defendant with number 2, Mr. Heimerl, who would be my client.
Okay. All right, Deputy, we can make sure we take 2 after this one. That will be good. All right, go ahead, State.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
As mentioned just now, this is a dual arrest. Ms. Hurt is the mother of position number 2, Scott Heimerl or Heimerl. The facts of this case are that on the 15th of February, during or following an argument with her son about being disrespectful and not helping when asked, related to chores in the home, she reported he had been punching walls up and making holes in the walls in the home. She chased him up the stairs as he was going away from her, and he turned around. And the allegation is that he grabbed her and threw her to the ground. He then went and fled the home. She got up and followed him and punched him in the cheek, causing bruising under the area of his right eye. So it's a battery family violence on Mrs. Hurt against her son, who is 20, not a juvenile, Mr. Heimerl in number 2. And the initial violent contact is alleged by Mr. Heimerl against his mother, Mrs. Hurt, by picking her up and throwing her to the ground. I believe this is the only arrest for both individuals.
Okay.
And we would be requesting a bond with some conditions for both of the individuals, Your Honor, but we'd leave the majority of that to your discretion.
Okay. All right. Pretrial.
She has no arrest, Your Honor. Pretrial.
None.
Said earlier.
Okay.
Arrest. Your Honor, we are not opposed to the state's recommendation of a signature bond through the jail. My client tells me that she would like to have contact with her son going forward. He's a college student and they don't live together.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and he is visiting from out of town, apparently staying with his grandparents, which would be her parents, and she does want to have no further violent contact with her son.
All right. I was going to say we would call that case, but I can go ahead and rule on this one and then we'll do his next. So there's been, give or take, maybe 24 hours. If it was the 15th, they may have gotten to the jail on the 16th. Just making sure that it's cooled down. Sounds like he can go stay with his grandparents.
He actually stays with them, Your Honor.
He
She
really
was
does
just
stay with them.
visiting.
Okay.
She was with her mom.
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor. Sorry to interrupt, but I did
No, go
speak.
ahead.
I spoke with his grandmother, and she did indicate that he has been staying with them, and he is welcome back in their home. And she did confirm that they both live separately.
Okay. Well, I think for right now, I will definitely order no further contact. I want to make sure that we've gotten through this. But I will give a $1,500 signature bond through the jail for Ms. Hurt. I'm going to order no further contact with her son right now, so that we can make sure they're okay. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that's it for now for her. I don't think there's anything else I need to do, right, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. If we could have position 2, Mr. Himmerell, deputy.
Who is coming up?
All right, this is 24 CR 0000780. Scott Himmerell, charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. Pretrial.
It's
You
a
may-
first arrest.
Thank you. All right, and I've heard the facts. And since he's going to be away at college and living somewhere else, I will grant a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. Going to order no further contact with his mother, Kristen Hurt. And so Mr. Himmerall is no further contact. I'm going to order a stay away from her residence.
From his
You all-
mother's residence, Judge. Just
His mother's residence, correct. Can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
all give
Thank
us that address? Make sure Miss Bridgewater has that. Someone give me the mother's address.
I don't have that, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
No.
Yes, Your Honor. I have mom's address. It is, just a moment.
Okay,
It is 4862 Old Farm Court, Northeast. And that's in Woodstock, Georgia.
Thank you.
thank you. All right. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe that'll be it.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Position number 9.
This is 24 CR 0000787. Arsenio Smith, charged at 1 count of simple assault, family violence. Pretrial.
5 total. 2018 ag assault first offender. 2015 obstruction, possession of marijuana conviction. 2013 trespass conviction. This was level 1.
Okay. State.
Your Honor, this incident did occur on 2/16/2024 at 532 Cleveland Avenue, Southwest Atlanta, apartment 14H. On that day, police were dispatched for a call of a dispute. Mr. Smith's stepfather, Mr. Brian Reed, reported that Mr. Smith was being disrespectful to his wife. And so Mr. Reed called him out on it. At that point, Mr. Smith grabbed a kitchen knife in his hands, and while walking towards Mr. Reed, told him, "All right, let's fight. I'll cut you." Your Honor, because of the presence of the weapon, and we did talk to Mr. Reed, we're asking for a $5,000 surety bond, a stay away from the location at 532 Cleveland Avenue, apartment 14H, a one-time police escort for Mr. Smith to go and get his things, no further contact with his stepfather, Mr. Brian Reed, one-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I
Okay.
would be asking the court for a signature bond for my client. Based on what I heard from pretrial, he has not been in any kind of trouble for many years. He is 34 years old, Your Honor. He denies the allegations that he threatened his stepfather or any such thing, Your Honor. He does have somewhere else to live, so we would like the one-time police escort for him to get his belongings and a signature bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I will order a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial. And that will be level 1. I'm going to also order with this pretrial bond, stay away from 532 Cleveland Avenue, the apartment, the incident location. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Brian Reed, I believe it was. I'm going to order the one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank
That
you, Your Honor.
concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Mhm. Who do we have?
Position 3.
Okay. This is 24 CR 000, excuse me, 781. Justin Henderson, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, a 2nd count of manufacturing, selling, or distributing false ID, pretrial.
He wasn't on my pool sheet, so I'm not sure how he got here.
Uh-oh.
I can fill in some of that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
He has 11 total cycles, battery, criminal trespass, willful obstruction from 2017, possession of methamphetamine, felony conviction 2017, another conviction for possession of methamphetamine in 2019. He also has 2 FTAs in the past 5 years and multiple probation violations. I believe he might be sitting on a probation violation warrant out of Buchanan, Georgia. In any case, this incident did occur on February 13th, 2024. Officers were called to 5660 Forest Downs Circle in South Fulton. Once they arrived, the victim, Ms. Hannah Hamilton, said that her live-in boyfriend slapped her in the face as she was preparing to leave the house to meet a friend that she met online. Officers did observe Ms. Hamilton to have a swollen left eye with a red mark on the side of her face. She identified her boyfriend as Shane Brebner, Brebner, and she showed the officers a picture of her boyfriend and told the officers that his date of birth was 3/9/1987. Officers did run the name, and it did not show him having any warrants. The photo on the license also matched the photo shown by the victim. While officers were still on the scene, providing medical care. They saw a man matching the description of the defendant nearby. He was placed into custody and provided a driver's license bearing the name of Shane Brebner. Ultimately, detectives for South Fulton Police discovered that the defendant's real name and date of birth was the same date of birth, but his real name is Justin Henderson. Your Honor, due to the multiple FTAs, multiple probation violations, and the fact that he is living under an assumed name, we would recommend a $7,000 surety bond, $5,000 at the battery, and $2,000 at the false ID. No further contact with Ms. Hamilton, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. Let's see. Is this you, Mr. Bartels?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. That is my case. I haven't spoken with Mr. Henderson. He does deny the general allegations that are in the warrant. He indicated that the alleged victim, she had actually started hitting on him, and he had to fend her off to protect himself. And regarding the ID charge, I am not clear exactly what the allegations are. It looks like from the warrant, the initial officer said he pulled up the driver's license rather than taking his license. And the photo on the license that he pulled up matched the name Shane Brebner. I haven't had an opportunity to sort that out, and I don't have access to. We don't have access to any update information in Odyssey with any charges, and we don't have the benefit of a GCIC. So I can't say exactly what our position is on that, but he does indicate he's from Carroll County, Georgia, from Carrollton. His parents live there. He has a brother and other extended family in the metro Atlanta area, so he does have ties to the community. I'm told that he was working in security. That job, he was laid off, but he is still looking for another job. So he does have ties to the community. He has 2 children that are 6 years old and 13 years old. So he also indicates they do not live together, so a no further contact order would not be an issue. He indicated he could stay with family members, but he would ask for a one-time return to the residence with an escort in order to get his property. Regarding the bond amount, he indicates, he told me, and again, I'm not able to verify this, but he told me that he has a $3,000 good bond on the battery, and he needs a bond on the second charge. He is wanting to ask the court for a signature bond, so we are making that request. If the court's not inclined, we would ask that the $3,000 remain on the battery charge and that he get a $500 bond on the ID charge.
And so at this Forest Down Circle, that is the defendant's address or defendant's location.
I'm told that's where they have been living.
And the victim has already moved or is going to move from that location.
I believe he was going to stay somewhere else.
Right. He can stay somewhere else, Judge. I haven't spoken
Okay.
to her, so I didn't know what her plans are.
Okay. All right. I will order a $4,000 surety bond. That'll be $3,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the ID. With that $4,000 surety bond, I will order a stay away from Forest Down Circle. I will order no further contact with the victim, Hannah Hamilton. I will allow a one-time law enforcement escort if he needs to return to that property to get any of his personal items. Make sure, Mr. Henderson, that you do not return without a police escort. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should be it.
Thank you, Judge.
Position 5.
This is 24 CR 0000783. Jelani Horton, charged with 1 count possession of a pistol or revolver by a person under the age of 18. Pre-trial.
First arrest.
State.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a South Fulton Police Department case from the 15th of February. Police were called to the area of Old National and Hackamore Road on a report of 5 young males walking around in the neighborhood attempting to break into vehicles. On scene, the police observed the defendant walking into a wooded area, and he had his hand on the grip of what is arguably a pistol in the front of his pants. Police attempted to make contact with him, and he looked at police and fled into the woods. He was then seen shortly thereafter by other officers on Sable Fox Run coming out of the woods and getting into a vehicle. Traffic stop was initiated. His mom was driving the vehicle and there was another woman inside. He was a passenger that had just obviously been picked up. He was identified by the police as the individual who'd just been seen running out of the woods and asked why he ran. He reported that he was afraid, and the loaded pistol that he'd had in his pants was now sitting underneath him in the car. Officers asked who the weapon belonged to. His mother said she knew who it belonged to, but she didn't want to say. And he was arrested. This is a very young man who, I guess it'd be nice to know if he was still living at home with his mom. And does he need a co-signer for his bond in this situation?
Well, I can address all that. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut things off prematurely, but I did speak with Mr. Horton and with his mother as well. And they both told me that she has already posted his bond. I don't know if anybody can verify the amount, but his mother said it was a $5,000 good bond. She said that he had posted it at 5 p.m. I'm sorry, about 3 p.m. yesterday.
Can we check that out, please?
Yeah, so I'm sorry to interrupt, and we certainly would dispute the factual allegations, but if he already
Right,
has
I understand, but if he's already posted a bond, we don't have to
if
waste
he's already
your time.
posted a bond,
Right.
that can wait another day.
Jail deputy.
I don't have a way to check it out at this moment. I'm really by myself.
Oh, you're by yourself. Pre-trial. Are you able? I
No,
shouldn't say call, 'cause
just wait to the
telephones are
end.
down.
Just hold him to the end, and they'll do it. They get
Okay.
a chance.
Well, we'll hold him to the end and see if he has posted it.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Because I don't know, do they have telephones yet? I shouldn't ask that, but I don't know if we have phones anymore. Guess we're doing
I think
cell
the
phones.
only cell phones I'm aware of at the jail are cell phones that the deputy.
Right, cell phones still.
Mhm.
All right.
I'm afraid so.
Position.
I do see, excuse me, I do see
Yes.
on the read-only version of Odyssey that it is listed, he is listed as having a $5,000 surety bond.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know what the details of that bond are, and I certainly hope it would include a co-signer, seeing as he is underage and some conditions. So it was surety is, I guess.
Y'all can just come back to him till they figure it out.
Excuse me?
We can just come back to him till they figure out whether or not he bonded out.
I heard what you said. Thank you. I was
Well, you
just
said,
finishing
excuse
my
me, like you
didn't.
presentation, sir. Mr. Howard, take a breath.
I'm taking plenty.
All right. Next, who do we have, deputy?
Position number 6.
6. All right. Timothy Jones, 24 CR 000784. 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property, pretrial.
9 total, 2019 probation. He's on probation to 2038 for a CWAC charge. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
2015 sale of marijuana conviction, 2012 failure to appear.
All right. State.
Thank you. Mr. Jones was arrested on the 15th of February on an outstanding warrant that was issued related to an incident in June of 2023. The warrant specifically is for criminal trespass, damage to property, and alleges that at the location of 1511 Monterey Parkway Drive, he was seen on surveillance, ring camera surveillance, on 2 different times during the period of June the 17th. One, showing up and throwing trash into the area of the residence. That's where his victim, Mrs. Hampton, and the mother of his children live. And then again, he returns in his red vehicle, gets out of his vehicle, goes over to the rear driver's side wheel of Miss Hammond's Toyota Corolla, bends down for a moment, gets back up, and then leaves again in his vehicle. When she came out the next morning, she saw that her tire had been punctured and slashed. He is a convicted felon. His arrest history includes violence against women. We have been in contact with the victim in this case. She is would like no further or no violent contact, I believe. She previously had a TPO against this gentleman, but it was only in place in May of 2023. She is not going to be on the Zoom, but if we wanted to sound for her just in case she changed her mind, Miss Hampton, Miss Kenesha Hampton. Those are the facts that the state would put forward, Your Honor. Based on his history, we'd be recommending a $5,000 surety bond with conditions. We would argue that no further contact is what's appropriate in this situation, and he be ordered to stay away from the location at 1511 Monterey Parkway. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bartels.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken to Mr. Jones about this. He does deny the allegations that he caused. He had indicated that the tire was already going flat on any day where he was at this residence. I am told that they do not live together, so I don't see that there's an issue with a no further contact order, as long as I guess a third party can be there if they have any children together to facilitate any transfer. He is wanting to ask for a signature bond, again, not having the benefit of getting a GCIC. You know, I can't speak to what his record is, but he is wanting to ask for a signature bond if he does qualify for one. I am told that he is employed by PF Chang's full-time. He has family in the area, so he is employed. He does have ties to the community. If the court is not inclined to grant a signature bond, we would ask for a $1,500 good bond.
All right, I guess you can instruct him to put his hand down.
Yes, sir. If you have a question about the facts of the case, we can talk about that later.
No, I just had questions about what pretrial them were telling you about. I had felonies and marijuana charges. I've never had any of those. So I was trying to make sure we had the right person.
Well, Timothy Jones is a very common name, sir. And there's
what's the middle name? What's the middle name? I'm sorry.
Timothy Andre Jones Jr.
What's his middle name?
Andre.
It's
Timothy Andre Jones Jr. Never had a marijuana charge a day in my life. Or a felony.
Maybe the state got something different then.
The information I have is based on a social security number and an FBI number, and it comes back with an Illinois criminal history associated with this gentleman.
Illinois. Not a day in my life.
You haven't been
Somebody
to
who takes
Illinois?
your fingerprints will have to look at that. That's the only way we can verify whether your criminal history is the same and should be associated with this person with the same social security in Illinois.
Yeah, and I can't see the booking photo to, you know, for the information. Yeah, okay.
Well, we would just ask the court to take all that into account. He does have a common name, and there are probably several other people with that name and his date of birth, is all I can say at this point.
And so Mr. Jones is saying he has no criminal history or just the Illinois history.
He said he never been in Illinois, didn't he?
No,
He indicated he had never been in Illinois.
And not even the Illinois history.
No, ma'am. I don't have any criminal history. The last criminal history I had was when I got a speeding ticket that I couldn't go to North Carolina and pay. That was it. And that was ago.
Well, the state got the paperwork, so I'm sure they ran what was on the based on the
Right.
booking, because I don't have
Right.
the packet.
Right.
I mean, you want to hold him to the end too? That's fine. All
That
right.
would be helpful.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
just figure
Yes.
something out.
All right,
Okay.
let us hold as well.
Horton, I just emailed somebody at the jail. She said he has not posted bond. Just so you know, come back to
Horton
him.
is not.
Correct.
Horton needs a co-signer.
Yeah, I think his mother would be willing to do that, Your
Do we have her name?
Honor. Let me get the paperwork.
Okay.
Okay, the first name it's Hawa, that's spelled Hawwah. Last name is Ben, Benn hyphen Johnson, the usual spelling. And I can put her number in the chat.
Okay. Deputy, I apologize. I went to finish up Horton real quick, if you don't mind. Or, okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Horton, that's your mom, Iowa Vin Johnson.
As well.
Okay. And how old are you?
17.
Is he still in high school?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to order the $5,000 good bond. And with that good bond, I guess with the good bond, I don't have to worry about mom because he'll go through the process, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But I am going to order Mr. Horton with this $5,000 good bond that you stay away from the area of Old National Highway. I guess I need to ask, do you live on Old National Highway?
Yes, ma'am.
On Old National or near?
Near.
Do you live near this incident location?
Yes, ma'am.
How close?
Like 8 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to order you to stay away from the incident location.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so do not go back in that area. I'm going to order you to have a curfew. Now, I want you to be in the house at 9 p.m. You can get out at or go out in the morning, I guess at 7 a.m. I don't know what time you do at school. Are you going to school?
It's 8, ma'am.
It starts at 8.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you leave about 7 or 6:30 or what time?
Like 7:30. Because the bus
7 a.m.
buses don't get. I leave the house like 7:30 because the buses don't get there till like 7:40 or 7:50.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to do 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. for your curfew.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, that would be 9 p.m. to 7 a.m.
I said it backwards, yeah.
Okay.
9 p.m. to 7
I
a.m.
don't think we want them out in the middle of the night.
All right. And I want to order that you must go to school or enroll in a GED program.
Yes, ma'am.
No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons while on bond. If you still have a weapon, you turn it into the sheriff's office immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't give it to your mom and say it's your mom's weapon. Your mom needs to turn it in for you.
I got you. I won't.
Okay.
And when we get a moment, Your Honor, I'll call his mom again and confirm.
Okay. And confirm. Right. And I think that is it. Did I leave out anything?
I believe that's it.
Okay. All right.
Position number 7.
This is 24 CR 000785 Dallas Lattimore. charge of 1 count of loitering or prowling, 2nd count of theft by receiving stolen property. Pretrial.
5 total. 2023 felony theft by taking. A 2023 fugitive warrant. 2023 trespass. That's all.
Okay. State.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Mr. Lattimore was arrested on February the 16th in and around the area of 140 Waverly Way. Between 11:10 p.m. on the 15th and 3:30 in the morning on the 16th. He was in that area, resident of that location, 140 Waverly Way. 2 women who are residents of that location called the police and reported that someone had pulled a firearm on them. Police responded to the scene and met with the 2 victims, who reported that as they were coming home to their residence, they saw 2 young men wearing masks, one with a bike and one on foot, leaving their driveway of their residence. As they approached these young men, one of them pulled out a gun, brandished a gun at them, and they left. So the police were called. They specifically described ski masks. One of the ski masks was colorful, and Mr. Lattimore was later identified as the individual wearing brightly colored underwear that was viewable because his pants were down. Officers canvassed the area and located the 2 males about to go into a smoke shop, and they had just dropped the blue bike that one of them had on him with him right nearby. They were detained and questioned. The 2 women who had encountered these young men in their driveway did a show-up ID and identified both of the young men, including Mr. Lattimore, and specifically, again, the ski mask and the colorful undies. Both men were in possession of firearms, and Mr. Lattimore was carrying a book bag that, when searched incident to arrest, had a driver's license in it of a woman named Sinead Jones. Police located Mrs. Sinead Jones' information and called her, and she reported that her information, including her driver's license, had just been stolen out of her vehicle recently. Although Mr. Lattimore claimed that the backpack was not his, it was in his possession and on his back when police detained him and arrested him. So Mr. Lattimore was arrested for possession or theft by receiving a stolen driver's license of Miss Sinead Jones, not having her permission to be in possession of it and not intending to return it to its rightful owner, excuse me. But also we've added loitering and prowling for being in and around someone's residential area with a ski mask on, accompanied by a friend who's brandishing a handgun. Mr. Lattimore is on a pretrial UJR bond from in November of 2023 for felony theft by taking through the DA's office, and he has an open obstruction case in our office, 23 CR 003-685G, for which he received a signature bond last year in June. So his arrest for the theft by taking felony that is with the DA's office was a violation of that initial bond, and now he's on a UJR bond in that case since November 2023. Do either of those bonds have conditions about possession of guns? Can anyone tell us about that? We would argue he needs a surety bond, and that he's in violation of 2 bonds now.
Oh, you didn't know he's on pretrial?
Nah, because you know how the system messed up. I'm about to look into it now. This is Lattimore, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
When I look up jailings, you know, it's just read only. You can't open things, but it says real clearly when you look them up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go into Odyssey. I know they don't want us in there, but
don't say that.
So we have a concern, Your Honor. The facts of this case, as well as the facts of the theft by taking and the obstruction, are all similar in that they involve suspicious behavior at night in residential areas, theft from cars, and the victim in this case, or at least the victim whose driver's license this gentleman was in possession of, had just reported her car had been broken into and her items had been stolen.
All right. Yeah, I'm very, very concerned. Looks like there's definitely a pattern here.
Yes, Your Honor. And this is my case, if I can share some
I'm
information
sorry.
for
Yes,
the court.
Mr. Gray. Didn't mean to
Yes,
leave you
Judge.
out. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Your Honor. So Mr. Lattimore, of course, is 20 years old. He's got substantial ties to this community. He was born and raised in Georgia. He's lived in Atlanta for the last 4 or 5 years, but he's also from the McDonough area. He's got a grandmother who lives here, a mother that lives in McDonough. So he's got substantial ties. He's not a flight risk, Your Honor. He reports to me that he was enrolled in GED classes at a nonprofit organization. He was also recently meaningfully employed as a cook, earning decent money. And he thinks he still has that job and can go back. The state, of course, brought up a lot of facts and allegations that were not in the packet that I received. I think notably, if the state wants to charge him with a firearm or being a party to a crime with a firearm, they're more than able to do that. But of course, they haven't done that here, Judge. He is charged simply with the theft by receiving, and then they added this loitering and prowling, Your Honor. So I would just ask the court to take into consideration what he has actually been charged with, as opposed to, information about him being ID'd based on his colorful underwear. I don't know, again, exactly what that means. So, Your Honor, we would ask for a signature bond through the jail. He's on pretrial already. He'll report to pretrial judge and ask him so he can get out, continue with his classes, return to work at the burger spot where he's working.
Well, if he's already on pretrial, they don't
Yeah, you're
show
gonna
that
have to
he's
sit tight.
been reporting. Are you saying that he has already been reporting to pretrial?
Judge, I did not get into that much detail,
Gave me a
but that is
thumbs up.
what when I heard that the state said he was on pretrial, I was assuming that was the case.
He just did a thumbs up.
I'm looking at it. Yeah,
Okay.
he's on pretrial. Thank you, state, because I didn't know. I ain't been in the system, so I'm about to revoke this. So he gonna have to. It's whatever.
Right, he's going to be revoked. I'm going to order that he have a $10,000 surety bond on the two charges. I guess you can just split them in half, 5,000 and 5,000. I'm going to order that he stay away from the incident location. And I believe 140 Waverly Way. And I don't know if it has this on the report or not, ASG Allen, if that is a subdivision.
No, it is a large house on a large lot with a very long driveway.
Okay, so it's not. I was getting ready to say if it was a subdivision, I was going to order him to stay away from that subdivision, but certainly stay away from the incident location. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. If he has any weapons or guns in his possession, they need to be turned in to the sheriff's department immediately. I'm going to order that he have no further contact with is it two victims or one?
So the victim whose driver's license he was in possession of is the victim I named here in open court, but I can also provide the names of the individuals who are returning home.
Right. I was thinking we would include all of them.
Yes, one moment.
Okay.
If you would, please put those names in the chat.
Judge, what was the date of this offense? Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
This morning? Okay.
15, 16. They say the 15th, but
Okay. Just making sure it didn't happen before he got the pretrial bond, like a warrant called
no.
up or something. Okay.
No. And then, Ms. Bridgewater, did you see the phone number in the chat that Mr. Bartels provided? I assume that's
Mr.
the
Horton.
mother.
Mhm.
On the, you got it. Okay.
You want me to put that number on the order?
No, I usually don't. Personally, I don't think we do. Not been
Well,
in a
I've never
habit of
done
that. I
it
think he
before.
was just giving it for pretrial to know.
So just to clarify, I did speak with his mother. She did verify that she paid the bond yesterday at first after hours bail bonds. And I advised his mom that she would have to be the co-signer. So I take it that she'll still have to come to the jail to sign that.
I don't think so. If
Okay,
the
well, the other,
bonding company is already accepted, they usually just bring that paperwork to the jail, correct?
well, yeah, well, the bonding company, nobody said anything about a co-signer until right now. So she already paid the bonding company yesterday. And she's kind of concerned because he called her just a minute ago and said that they were getting ready to take him to Union City. So we're not sure why that would be done if his bond is being processed.
Yeah, we're so not in control of all of that. But I am slightly concerned if it's been paid and he's not being processed.
Yeah,
But then
I am too. That's my
why
concern.
hasn't the bonding company got over there and brought the paperwork, brought it, that's
Correct.
that's what I thought generally happens.
Well, I mean, normally they do a lot of this, I would think, over the phone or online, but of
True.
course it's not an option. So
Right, that could be the problem. She just needs to call the bonding company and scream and holler and say, get over there.
all right, well, I'll keep
They
working.
need to go in person, I guess.
All right.
Because I don't know what they're doing right now, with the system down.
I do not know how the process is different now, but I imagine it would have to be.
And maybe that bonding company is not aware or doesn't. They should be.
That should be.
They should be.
Yeah, they should know. So okay.
Sorry about that we can't help.
So,
You're sorry. go ahead.
Jones, the
Uh-huh.
FBI number that they put on his paperwork is different from what's in the system. So I'm
Okay.
gonna run what's in the system,
Okay.
and I'll get back with you in a minute.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I don't think I have any other conditions to add on to Lattimore.
And on Mr. Lattimore, Your Honor, the names of the individuals, Gabrielle Draper, Draper,
Mhm.
and Tyler Draper, Draper, Tyler for Tyler, and Gabrielle is Gabrielle.
Okay.
The other individual arrested with Mr. Lattimore was charged with brandishing the weapon and an aggravated assault against those ladies. I simply asked about the firearm because I saw that he was on 2 different bonds and wondered if those bonds included conditions requiring him not to have one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I'm sure they probably do, especially ours anyway. And I'm assuming the DA also has it on there, I bet. All right, that is it for Mr. Lattimore.
We're going back to position 6, Jones.
Okay.
Give me
Pretrial needs another
give me like
second.
30 seconds. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, geez, I see acting stupid. Okay. Blunt, let's hold him to the end.
Gotcha, boss. We're gonna do position number 8, Mr. Price.
Judge, this is a first arrest level 1.
Ms. Bridgewater, I guess, do we need to stop streaming? Who's running the Zoom? You or
It's
somebody else?
April Champion, I believe it is.
Miss Champion? Oh, I see it. Miss Champion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I didn't even see your name there. Can you stop the recording? I'm sorry, stop the live stream, but continue recording.
Or do we just want to hold them to last because it's defendants in the courtroom also?
Oh, that's right, I forgot. Yes. We can hold him to last and then we won't have to worry. I'm sorry, Deputy, can we hold Mr. Price to last?
We're gonna go to position 10.
Okay. This is 24 CR 0000788. Xavier Williams, charge of 1 count of battery family violence, 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property, and a 3rd count of cruelty to children in the 3rd. Pretrial.
This is L. Williams, 7 total. Appears to be on federal probation for penalties for a firearm. That should time out 2026. 2018 sale of marijuana, possession of a firearm during the commission. 2017 probation. 2017 possession of marijuana conviction. 2014 reckless conduct conviction. That's all I got. And I'll be ready for Jones after you all wrap this case up.
Okay, thank you. State.
Your Honor, these allegations do stem from an incident on December 26th of 2023. Officers responded to 330 Auburn Point Drive, Southeast Atlanta, apartment 8301. When the officers arrived, they spoke to Antonia Jackson, who told them that a physical altercation occurred after she confronted the defendant about his cheating on her. She told officers that the defendant kicked the front door in, causing it to be inoperable. It couldn't lock or close properly, and that he put his hands around her neck and chin area and choked her. Officers did observe injuries to her upper and lower lip and a scratch to her right breast. Their 4-year-old child together, Legacy Williams, was present during the incident. Your Honor, I believe that Antonia Jackson is on the Zoom call and would like to make a statement. But that being said, the state is recommending a $5,000 surety bond, $2,000 at the battery and criminal or cruelty to children count, and $1,000 at the criminal trespass damage to property count, and no violent contact.
All right. Mr. Bray.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Williams, he is 28 years old, Your Honor. He was born and raised here in Atlanta. He does have a different address he can go reside at, so he doesn't have to go back to the incident location where Miss Jackson resides. He graduated high school here in Atlanta again. He does have a job at Max SIP, where he does telecommunication work as a tech. That is what he's done for the last 15 years. So, Judge, we are asking for a signature bond through pretrial so he can get out, go back to work, and help support his child.
All right, I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond, $2,000 on the battery, $2,000 on the cruelty. 1,000 on the criminal trespass. With that 5,000 surety, stay away from the incident location. No further contact with Ms. Jackson. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that'll be it.
Your Honor, I
Yes.
apologize, Your Honor. It sounded like Ms. Jackson was on the line and the state had asked for no further violent contact with the
Oh, I
court.
do
We
see. I'm
wanted-
sorry. That's at Antonia Jackson.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jackson, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, ma'am.
You wish to address the court?
Yes, ma'am.
If you do, I have to see your face. You got to turn your camera on and I'll swear you in first.
Okay.
I apologize. I didn't see you there. All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, put your hand down for me. Are you in fear of Mr. LaXavier Williams?
No.
Do you want to have
No,
any
ma'am.
further contact? Okay. Do you want to have any further contact with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Those are the two questions I have. Any other cross-examination questions by either attorney?
Not by the defense, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. And do you all reside together?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have any children together?
Yes.
Oh. How does the child that you have together?
He's 4 years old.
Okay.
And if I can just say, my child was present, he was home, but my child did not witness anything. He was not there. His dad did not hurt me or anything in front of his child. So I just want to make that that he really loves him and he's not going to do anything to hurt his son or me.
Okay. Did you call the police?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stand by my $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to stand by the stay away. I think there needs to be, well, let me say this. I see that this happened in December. And I apologize again, not paying attention to that it happened in December. You all had contact and everything since December?
Yes.
I'm going to retract that stay away. I'm just going to order no further violent contact since he doesn't live there. Still going to make it a surety bond because of his history. And with the child, I'm going to say no further violent contact with the child as well. If you allow visitation, I'll leave that up to you, Ms. Jackson. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that's all I order at this time, but it will be still the 5,000 surety. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we ready for Jones, number 6?
Yes.
Come on.
Okay.
So the FBI number that they had on the paperwork it belongs to that person, but the guy much shorter. He's like 5'3", 5'4". This is second arrest. All he has is a 2018 arrest out of Alabama for suspended license. That's it.
And that's more consistent with what he's told me, Your Honor.
What he said. Okay.
It's interesting. The number he gave me, and he told me he's from Mobile, Alabama, which is where I'm from. So it's
All right. On that one,
we would just ask the court to again consider a signature bond and with a no further contact.
all right, I will order. I think before I had said a 5,000 surety. So let me take that back and give it a $3,500 signature bond through, but he's living here just from Alabama, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. Yeah, I've got an Atlanta address for him.
All right. Since he's working, I'm gonna go ahead and make it through the jail. And I think you said he's been at the restaurant for a little bit.
P.F. Chang's, yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. All right, I'm going to do 3,500 signature bond through the jail. I'm gonna ask him to stay away from that incident location where they saw him on the ring. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. So people have to remember these ring cameras are getting everybody on camera lately. So no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that's it. I don't know, Mr. Jones, if your attorney wants you to talk. What's your question about the bond conditions?
No, man, it was about the no contact. So I take my kids to school and I'm over there frequent with my kids, you know.
Oh, I don't think we knew that, did we? How old are your
Yeah.
children?
They're, my oldest is 4, my youngest is 1.
So you have
Is
two
there
children
a-
with the victim?
Yes, ma'am.
Is
Hold
there
on
a
a second.
sorry?
Go ahead. No, Mr. Bartell, I was telling him.
I was going to say, is there a third party that can help to act as a go-between with the children, Mr. Jones?
She works too, so we could probably work something out with her.
Okay, or maybe there could be a no further contact order except for transfer of the children.
I don't like to do that because it sometimes gets sticky, because
Also, these
very, very
individuals
young
aren't
children.
married.
Yeah. And
Well, the
I
other
don't know,
option
has
being
has
no
he
further
legitimated
violent
the children?
contact.
No.
Have you legitimated the children, Mr. Jones?
No, ma'am, I was in the process.
Okay, so technically at the moment, you don't really have any rights for visitation anyway.
No, ma'am.
Until you do that, and I can put this in the order, Ms. Bridgewater, till you legitimize the children, it'll be up to the mother as to whether she allows visitation because she doesn't have to. But if visitation is allowed, it needs to be precipitated by a third party. And again, you are to have no further contact with her, and not to go around. And so you might miss seeing your children for a minute until you all can work this out and get a third party to help you exchange them so that you don't violate your bond conditions.
So, no
Because
further
there's been a
contact.
TPO in the past, and so I am concerned.
Okay, so just to clarify, Your Honor, no further contact now, but if the children are legitimated, then it's third party transfer.
I'll let it be third party before the
For
legitimation,
now.
since if he's taking them to
Right.
school or something, she may need that assistance. But he
Okay.
just needs to make sure that either somebody comes to the house and exchanges them with them in the morning before school, or maybe that third party should be the one to take them to school now in the interim until we get through this
Until the
case,
legitimation is done.
or till
Okay.
the legitimation gives them in order.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Number 1, Paris.
Okay. This is 24 CR 0000779, Preston Harris, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, pretrial.
12 total. 2023 disorderly conduct, possession of drug-related objects. This is different arrest in 2023. Trespass conviction. 2022 simple battery. 2022 simple battery disorderly conduct conviction. 2021 probation violation. He's on probation for 2020 arson. They gave him 8 years probation for that, so he will get off of that in 2031. 2017 cruelty in the first. He got first offender for that. That's it.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is a criminal trespass. The facts of this case are that the Phoenix house, which is located at 1296 Murphy Avenue, earlier this year in July July the 26th of 2023, Mr. Harris Preston was told to no longer return to the location by APD officer Daddy, Dadeah. On the 16th of February at 2:16 in the afternoon, the property manager of that location called 911 and reported that the defendant was seen leaving through the exit gate from that property, where he is no longer allowed to be. Police responded and apprehended the defendant. The Phoenix House representative spoke with our office, and they report that the housing there is specifically for people with mental illness. That the defendant has been asked to leave multiple times and keeps returning. He tries to stay in a unit on the property where he uses drugs and just kind of squats there, causing an issue. He's caused property damage, and he has been violent and dangerous with staff. And they would like him to not return to the location and recommend a mental health evaluation and to stay away from the Phoenix House at 1296 Murphy Avenue. And we agree. This should be a surety bond based on the criminal history, including violent felonies that include felonies with property damage that create a danger to the public. So we would ask for a $5,000 surety bond with some requirements, including maybe a mental health evaluation, but also obviously to stay away from the location.
Yes.
Martel?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Harris. He is asking for a signature bond. And as I've said, I haven't had the benefit of a GCIC, so I can't address whether anything that he's done actually is an issue of public safety, but he is asking for a signature bond. He indicates that he has an address. He lives at 1083 White Oak Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, is what I'm told. And so he does have an Atlanta address. He says, if the court is not inclined to set a signature bond, we would ask for a $1,000 good bond. And he does indicate that maintains that he was not given a trespass warning, but I'd advised him that, if he wants a trial, that would be for another day. So that's all that I have right
now. And how old is Mr. Preston? 20 something.
Looks like he is 25, Judge.
Well, he does have significant history that concerns me. And I don't know if you got a feel or a sense of any MH issues or not in talking to him.
I don't have any information I can offer regarding that, Judge. There was nothing that was acknowledged.
All right, I will order the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the Phoenix House on Murphy Avenue. No further contact with anyone that resides there, and then especially the victim, Mr. Dadeah, I believe.
I think that was the arresting officer.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was not the person at the Phoenix House. Oh,
I don't think there's an actual victim other than.
There is Dana Harris, who operates the Phoenix House, specifically for people with mental illness and issues whose staff this gentleman has been violent with, is asking specifically again that he be told not to return.
Yeah, I wish I had a little bit more. I'm ordering the MHE, and that is a location that deals with that type of thing.
We could request, I think, that a social worker from the PD's office visit this gentleman. And don't we have people doing mental health court evaluations as part of this process?
Well, I think we could probably go to the breakout room to discuss that.
That'd be great.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right, Ms. Champion, can we go to breakout, please? Everybody want to come? Mr. Bray? Okay,
Okay, yes, ma'am. I'll put you guys in a breakout room.
Okay,
thank you. All right, Mr. Harris, you're going to have this, in my order again, is a $5,000 surety bond. The social worker is going to come out and talk to you to see what needs you have or what they can do to assist you. You are to stay away from that Phoenix house. If you get out on bond, no further contact with the director there or anyone really at that location, to be real honest. And because you have to stay away, you shouldn't even be there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Okay. Thank you.
So ma'am, if it's no trouble, when's the next time I come to court?
February 29th.
Oh, the 29th.
The 29th.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Number 11, Mr. Williams, or Williams.
This is 24 CR 0000789. Orrin Williams, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 1 count of willful obstruction.
Fifth arrest, 2013 DUI. Before that was 02 resisting, and the other history came before that. That's all.
All right, state.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident did occur February 9th at the In-Town Suites located at 1375 Northside Drive. Officers were called to the hotel for a complaint of a guest who failed to check out at noon. He was given an extension to 3 p.m. when he also failed to leave. Officers went to the room where the defendant was laying naked on the bed. He was told to gather his things and leave. He did not move. He finally got up after several verbal commands and got dressed. He had admitted to smoking crack previously and appeared to be under the influence of narcotics. As an officer approached him to physically escort him out of the room, he refused commands to put his hands behind his back and grabbed the doorway with both of his hands. It took the assistance of another officer to get both of his hands in handcuffs. Your Honor, I'm not sure if he has a local address. And so for that reason, we were asking for a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 at each count, and a stay away from the In-Town Suites located at the Northside Drive arrest or address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. Mr. Bray, is this you?
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, he is 57 years old, Your Honor. He has lived in Atlanta since 2003. He did have a residence here. He had a house that he owned, which he recently sold. So he is between addresses right now. But all of his ties, and he's built his life here over the last 21 years at this point. So I think he's got substantial ties here to the community. Your Honor, he was arrested on the day of the incident on 2/9, but he was taken to Grady for a heart attack. So he's someone who is older than the normal population of clients we have, and someone with serious health conditions, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to set a signature bond through the jail, given his age, his health, and his fairly minor criminal history, as the court heard about from pretrial. And he would be fine with the stay away from the In-Town Suite.
So he would have somewhere else to stay.
Yes, Your Honor. He'll be able to find another residence or another at least temporary location until he finds something more permanent. But he'll be here in Atlanta.
So is he retired and getting Social Security or some income or?
Yes, Your Honor. He told me that he worked as a contractor with the U.S. Forest Service up until 2016. So it's been a little while, but he is someone who previously worked.
Yeah, I don't know if your social worker needs to talk with them about housing, but just want to make sure.
Yes, Judge.
But I will, I'm going to do a $3,500 signature bond through the I'm assuming now you're going to be in contact. Mr. Williams is going to come back to court and that you'll be able to keep up with them.
Yes, Your Honor. I do have a cell phone number from Mr. Williams, so I'll be able to reach out to him through that number.
Because I was going to do pretrial, but I don't want to add any more stress to his situation with
Thank you.
reporting. But I want to make sure we're going to be able to keep up with him, even though I know he's 57. I would do the 3,500 through signature bond through jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. No drugs. Is to stay away from the in-town suites on Northside Drive. And I don't have a victim per se there, so you stay away. All right, Mr. Williams.
Judge, what is the breakdown on the bond?
Excuse me. 2,500 on the trespass and 1,000 on the obstruction. That will be it.
The next position is number 12.
This is 24 CR 000790. I'm guessing that's Lonnie Wolf, charged with 1 count of battery, 2 counts of battery family violence, and 1 count of simple battery family violence. Pre-trial.
Fifth arrest. Appears to have an open 2022 obstruction, possession of marijuana. 2013 driving while impaired. 2011 PI no load. That's all.
All right, state.
Your Honor, the date of this incident is a little bit ago, so October 8th of 2023. It did occur at a BP gas station, which is 2193 Peachtree Road. It was reported by, I'm going to spell her name because I will mispronounce it, Senii, last name Scylla, Cylla. Miss Scylla talked to officers and reported that they had been out drinking together and left the bar to go home. Mr. Wolf was driving and he began driving erratically and a verbal argument ensued. He pulled into a gas station, the BP, and began to punch and elbow her in the face before jumping into the back seat. While in the back seat, he kicked her in the back of the head multiple times. He then climbed back into the front seat, punched her multiple times with a closed fist, causing an observable black eye and swelling to the left side of her face. While she was attempting to get help, he bit her on the face, left arm, and left leg, leaving multiple visible bite marks. He then drove off with the victim still in the passenger seat. When they arrived at their apartment complex where they resided together, she left the vehicle to call for help. Brookhaven police arrived, but declined to detain him because the assault occurred in the city of Atlanta. City of Atlanta police officers never arrived that night. The victim did gather her belongings with the assistance of Brookhaven police and went to a friend's house and ultimately Northside Hospital, where she did seek medical treatment for her injuries. Your Honor, we have been in contact with Ms. Scylla. We're asking for a $5,000 surety bond, $2,000 at each count of the battery, $1,000 at the simple battery. Ms. Scylla is requesting no violent contact with Mr. Wolf, 1 day anger awareness, and we're also recommending no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. Mr. Bright.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wolf is 32 years old. He was born and raised here in Atlanta, or excuse me, he was raised here in Atlanta. He's lived here the last 14 years. He's got a mother, a brother, and a sister who all reside here. He has been working recently through DoorDash, and previously he also worked through Variable, a temp agency. He graduated high school here. He tells me that he actually went off to Elon University in North Carolina and played football for a period of time before returning here. As the court heard, his history is fairly minor. And also this incident date, of course, happened back in October of last year. There's no allegations that there's been any other violent contact with the alleged victim in this case, and they don't have a romantic relationship. At least that's my understanding at this point. And so, Your Honor, based on the fact that he's been out since October, there haven't been any issues with the victim or any subsequent arrests since then. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial with the 1-day anger awareness. And then we are fine, of course, with the no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns. And then no further violent contact, of course.
And you're saying now they're not in a relationship?
That's correct, Your Honor.
I'm going to order a $5,000 surety bond, 2,000 on each of the batteries and 1,000 on the simple battery. Pretty concerned about the allegations. I'm going to order a stay away from, and I don't know if we know this, do we know the residence address of the victim? I know this happened at a BP kind of pullover side of the road. I'd like to put her address as well.
I'll get that.
And,
You
okay.
in the chat.
Okay. And stay away from her location, her job, her work, anywhere around. No further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that's it.
This is position number 8.
8, okay.